Welcome back to It Was Never a Phase Cards. We have a great video for you guys today. This is my 20 cards that are $20 or under, and we're going to jump straight into it. And make sure you guys stay tuned to the end because we do have some pretty unique cards at the end of the video. So you're going to want to stay tuned for that. But we are starting off with the Ninetales from Obsidian Flames, and it's pretty easy to see why this card is on the list. This is a Gen 1 Pokemon. Absolutely stunning artwork. The colors, everything about this card, it really pops. Obsidian Flames has been going up in price a lot lately, the booster boxes, but the Ninetales has dropped down below $20. And this is kind of going to be a common theme. There's a lot of cards who have dropped under that $20 mark, and they're looking at great pickup times for a lot of these cards. So Ninetales had to be like at the top of the list just because this is such a really nice illustration rare. And there's definitely going to be a lot more illustration rares kind of in this style. But something to note about a lot of these cards is while they will be down like 38% in the past 3 months, which is kind of why they made the list, they're at a great buying opportunity. They will still be up overall in the long term. So keep that in mind as you look at this. So like, for example, the Ninetales a year ago was an $8 card, but now it's around 17. So definitely a great pickup for anyone's collection is the Ninetales. Absolutely stunning card. And then we have the Slowpoke from Scarlet and Violet base. Now, this is one of those cards that shot up along with the Drowsy. It went pretty massive. And at the time, I was like, it's too expensive. I made some videos being very vocal, more specifically about the Drowsy, but to a certain extent, the Slowpoke as well. And you can see this card is down almost 50%. It's just under $20. And this is a great buying point, a great entry point for the Slowpoke. It's just a silly... it's a silly illustration rare with a derpy Gen 1 Pokemon, so I don't think you can really go wrong. Once again, it's kind of the same thing. This card is up, still 147% on the year, but down pretty massively from the $40 mark. So it's come down quite a bit off of that February high. So a much better entry point, and I do think that a lot of these cards are going to hold higher values than they did before because there's a lot more tension on illustration rares as a whole. So Slowpoke just squeaking in at $19. Another really great card on the list. Scarlet and Violet base has some good arts. Then a newer set, Cerulege from Surging Sparks. This is another one similarly down almost 50%, just barely making it under $20 at $19.17. It's pretty easy to see why this one is on the list as well. Just barely making the price point, but this is a really cool illustration rare. And if you haven't seen the new anime, it's on Netflix, Pokemon Horizons. Cerulege is heavily featured in that, and one of the villain side uses Cerulege, and he's just a cool looking Pokemon. So that's why he's on the list. I think that obviously art wise, this is an absolutely stunning illustration rare. So, under that $20 mark, I think this is a great pickup. A lot of cards like coming into the summer, we've talked about this recently if you're newer. A lot of these singles have been cooling off coming into summertime, which is something we usually see. And you're going to see at some point these cards starting to level out like this, and it's going to indicate a good buying period. So I think Cerulege definitely qualifies. Really nice looking card. Also, as we move through these cards, let me know in the comments if you guys like which of your cards are your favorites from this list and what did I miss on this list. So let me know in the comments below. And now we're going to go back to Sword and Shield to one of my favorite promos from that Charizard Ultra Premium Collection box. This has some really great promos in that box, and that box obviously being very expensive, but I love this. This is like, you got the Venusaur in the background, looks like they just had a battle, Charizard's resting. He's still got his eyes open, he's not sleeping, but stuff's on fire, stuff's destroyed. This is just a really great art and super, it's not adorable, but it's just a little bit different style. And so obviously another one that just squeaked in, right? $19. So this one definitely right there at that price point. And for your collection, it's just a really nice Charizard card to have. I do love all three of the promos from this box. So definitely had to make the list there with the Charizard V from the premium collection box. Now this one, I'm fudging the numbers a little bit on the Articuno, but this is one of those cards. It's technically right now at like $22, so it's slightly over the list, the price. But I did pick this card up. I had a Japanese copy, but I picked it up in English just the other day. because I thought it was at a good point. You know, it may continue to dip a little bit more just because Journey Together is being opened a lot and the supply is pretty high on this card. So this is one that could go down. It could drop into that $20 range, but I had to pick it up because it's a really nice looking card for my collection. So Articuno was a must have for me. It's one of those cards from Journey Together that really stood out. Obviously, huge Gen 1 fan here. So Articuno, fudge the numbers to make an exception for Articuno. And I think this is the only one on the list that actually was over $20. So Articuno, big fan. And then the first Japanese card that we included on the list. Now, we are in release week for Destined Rivals. So that is why I had to have this card on the list. This is Team Rocket's Hound Doom. And this is much cheaper than $20. This is a $10 card, but I just wanted to bring it up because I think that even if you don't like Hound Doom, which, you know, he is definitely up there towards one of my favorite Pokemon, I think that the art style on this card and the pose is just a super cool card. And the English is coming out this week, which I'm very excited for, but definitely going to be an over $20 illustration rare out the gate. But the Japanese side, very affordable. So you could pick up a copy for $10, and I do think it's worth including some Japanese cards on this list for that reason, because the English versions often are way more expensive. So this is the first Japanese card that we included on this list, and you can pick up multiple copies if that was your thing. You could get 2 copies for $20, and just wanted to bring some attention to this card and also collecting Japanese. If you're in it for the artwork, Japanese or Korean is always a great alternative. So we don't know what the English side is going to end up leveling off at for this card, but Japanese definitely affordable. So just a really nice looking card, right? I'm excited for Destined Rivals, so had to make the list. And then this is the Charmander promo from the ETB. Now this card has come up obviously big in the past year, and the Pokemon Center version obviously very expensive, but this is one of the top tier artworks. Super adorable with his forehead pressed. Obviously you've probably seen this card around, right? It's very popular, but this one is just under 20 as well, and it has come down. You know, not that long ago it was around 27. It did dip as low as $17.50, $18, so it's come back up a little bit, and over the past year obviously up pretty massive, so keep that in mind. 264%. Undervalued probably at around $4 or $5. So definitely come down into that, just recently fell into that $20 price range. So if you don't have one of these cards, a must have for your collection. The stamped version obviously much more expensive, so the non-stamped is becoming definitely affordable. Then I don't know how many people would necessarily have this on their list. It's another card from SV Base. And it's just one of those ones that I just, with the coloring and everything, just with the legendaries, the Maridon, looking at the dash button here, something about it, it's not the craziest card, and pull rates in Scarlet and Violet Base, pretty easy to pull special illustration rares, but it's at around $19 currently, and it's just a nice special illustration rare of a legendary, and it's just one I like, and that's why it made the list. It was not that long ago around $27. It did dip as low as like high 17, so around $18. So it's come back up a little bit, but a nice special illustration rare from SV Base if you're looking to add SIR to your collection. While there are a lot of illustration rares, non-textured, I do like the texturing of the special illustration rares. So, and they really pop when you get them in the right light. So I do like special illustration rares a lot. So that's another reason why this one made the list, to give a little bit of variety, right, to the list here. Then from Paldea Evolved, Pseudo. Now this one's definitely under 20, and this one might not be for everyone. I totally understand. But once again, just bringing it back real quick to Destined Rivals for a second with Ethan and Ho-Oh and Pokemon Gold. I played Pokemon Gold growing up, so the whole Pseudo thing, and I like how he's just standing here blending in. This may not be for everyone, and totally understand. But, and it was, you know, even back here when it was up, it was still under $20, but it was just a nice illustration rare that evokes some memories for me in Pokemon Gold and Silver specifically. So that's why at $12, it's just another nice illustration rare to have in your collection. So Pseudo made the list for nostalgic reasons. So Paldea Evolved, a big, deep set with a lot of nice illustration rares. And this one, you know, maybe a lot of people wouldn't have included on the list, but also just to try to get a little bit of variety, a little bit of differences on here. Then we have our second Japanese card to make the list. Similar thing. I'm excited for Destined Rivals. And Ethan's Typhlosion is a similar thing. It's nostalgia for me. It's Pokemon Gold specifically, but just a really great illustration rare, or art rare, obviously, because this is Japanese. But we don't know how expensive the English one is going to end up being at. Around 17, 18 bucks currently for a Japanese copy. It's just an affordable way to get a really nice looking art card. So it's kind of a no-brainer for me as well. Now, if you don't collect Japanese cards, then there's nothing wrong with that. But just another way to have a nice card in your collection at an affordable price. It gets around the $20 barrier that I was trying to make for this video. So it sneaks in right there at around $17, $18 for Ethan's Typhlosion. Then we have Heracross, another one from Paldea Evolved that really kind of just caught my eye and recently dipped down below 20. Similar thing, right? Some Gen 2 nostalgia, just a nice illustration rare. Paldea Evolved getting a lot of attention right now. If you're not familiar, the booster boxes have shot up to around $300. So there's going to be a lot of interest coming into Paldea. But you can see the Heracross has dropped from around 25 recently down to just under 20 in the $19 range. Another nice illustration rare. This could be one where, like I said, if you don't necessarily like this Pokemon, I could totally understand why you wouldn't want to pick this up and it wouldn't be on your list. But it is a Pokemon that I like enough from Gen 2. So Heracross definitely making the list for me. And then I've talked about this one more recently as well, but the Magbby from Paradox Rift. This is one that much more affordable than 20, it's around $12. But this illustration rare brings me back. This one made the list because of nostalgia again. And like I said, I've talked about it recently. So it reminds me of Pokemon Snap, pushing the Charmeleon in with the apple, knocking him into the lava, and he evolves into Charizard. And just the way he's just chilling, he's got his eyes closed, he's just blowing some fire, just soaking up the heat in the lava. It's just a nice looking card and one I really appreciate. And being down, this was almost at that $20 range about 3 months ago, around $18, and it's come down quite a bit to around $12. You can see a big uptick in sales May 16th, which was that TCG player sale date. So a lot of people did pick up some copies here, and that has driven the price up a little bit. But a very nice looking illustration rare from Paradox Rift. It is a set I like a lot as a whole. So Magbby, if you haven't considered it, it's a nice affordable illustration rare. And then we have some Crown Zenith, Sword and Shield era stuff. This Pikachu is a little bit more affordable again as well, around $14 currently. Let's see, in the past 3 months, it was a little bit above the $20 mark. And it's come down quite a bit. Like I said, a lot of cards have come down, and that's what made them make this list. Some people, I could see how they maybe don't like how busy this card is, but in combination with the colors, I kind of like the busyness of all the Pokemon in the background around the Pikachu. I think the Pikachu stands out enough to differentiate. But yeah, I could see how maybe some might not like this card, but for me, I love the busyness of it, and I love just the big glom of Pokemon. And obviously Pikachu being extremely iconic, a nice Pikachu for under 20. I don't think, and Crown Zenith. Crown Zenith is an amazing set. So there's so many great cards. I could have probably made 20 cards just from Crown Zenith that I really liked, if I'm being completely honest. But I try not to load up with too many cards from any one set. Then we're going to jump over to Temporal Forces. The Arbok I've been vocal about as well, and it's continued to drop. Back here, it was above $20 3 months ago. The low was around 13, and now it's at 14, so it's just come up a little bit. But this is just another nice illustration rare from Temporal Forces, where I think it's just a unique looking style. And, maybe Arbok not as popular of a Pokemon, and maybe I'm just getting, even though like Jesse and James weren't in Destined Rivals or the Glory of Team Rocket, maybe I just have a little bit of like Team Rocket nostalgia happening in my head right now. But the Arbok is another nice illustration rare. I feel if you're a Gen 1 fan, must have for your collection. So that's why this one made the list. Very affordable at $14 currently. This is another one that is up on the year. 151%. And this, like I said, this is a common theme. You know, back here it was around a $5 card, and now it's at 14, but much more affordable price coming off of the high of 22. And then we did have a 151 card make the list. Now, pretty much all of the illustration rares, I think this is the only one under 20. And so that kind of is part of the reason why it made the list, right? It's kind of the only one that qualifies. But I do genuinely love this card. The art style, the reflection, it's an absolutely stunning card. I'm not sure necessarily why they chose Poliwhirl per se, but I think it works. And obviously, you know, it's definitely down there as far as an illustration rare goes. But even if you're not working on your 151 collection, and this is just a nice illustration rare. So I really wanted to include a card from 151, and this was kind of the standout because it's in the price range of 15, and it's just really nice looking as far as art goes. So it's just one of those ones that it caught my eye very quickly when the set came out, and has continued to. Every time I see this card, I appreciate it. I really like the artist here did a really great job. So Poliwhirl was kind of a no-brainer. And then more Gen 1 bias coming to the to this list. And Chansy from Twilight, similar story, down 38%, right? We're coming off of a high of 28, so that falls down right into our range of under 20. Great buying opportunity across the board for a lot of these cards if you're looking at picking them up. $17. Now this card features a lot of great Pokemon. You have Snorlax, Psyduck, Ditto, and Blissey here. But obviously this is a Chansey card coming from Twilight Masquerade. Just another great illustration rare. I forgot, obviously, Bellsprout's right here too. Duh. So Gen 1 Pokemon, it's just a nice looking fun, kind of like just more of a cutesy style card. That definitely deserves to be on this list as far as illustration rares go. So at that $17 price point, once again, worth noting. Now this card is not up as massively, only 37%. It ran up to around almost 20 before, came back down to around 8, and then obviously we're coming off of a high of around 30 earlier this year, around January. So it is up, not as crazy as some of the other cards on the 1 year. So a little bit different there. And then is this the cheapest card on the list at $8? So this is from Stellar Crown. And this one is starting to come up a little bit. You can see back here it was around 12. But from 7 to 8. Now, just because it was under 20 doesn't mean it has to be near 20, right? So this one would qualify in an under $10 list. But I think that this is just a really cool looking illustration rare. Zora from Stellar Crown. And I did want to include a card from Stellar Crown because there are some great artworks in the set. And obviously, this is one that, especially with the coloring that they had chose, I think is just a super cool pose. I think it's super cool art. And at $8, this is a no-brainer pickup if you don't have this in your collection. I think we pulled this on the channel when we opened some Stellar Crown. So I do have this one in my collection, and it's a great looking. Obviously, I get anime vibes, obviously, from like the lightning and stuff coming out. So another nice looking card. Now we're going to get into the last three, a little bit more interesting to end the video off. Now this one's a little different. This one's moving up right now. Totally different than all the cards we've talked about that have been on the decline. But this is a tag team card. I think that tag teams have a unique look. If you're not familiar with them, just off of the borders of the card separate them, but obviously the tag team themselves. Venusaur and Snivy. Now this one has been starting to go up. It's still only at $16. Market price, most recent sale around $19. So still qualifying for under $20. Now this one's a little different because it's moving up, but I did want to include an older tag team card. So this is the one that I chose that made the list, just barely under $20. And I think it's just a nice looking card. Obviously once again, Gen 1 bias showing through for the Venusaur. So a nice looking card here. So Venusaur and Snivy, a little bit older style card. And then we're going to have another interesting throwback, another one that's up, but worth talking about just because I thought it was very unique looking. And I think this is, it's kind of hard to see. I think this is this 2012? I can't see the year on here. But this is a General Mills promo. So this came in a cereal box. And this is, obviously it looks older because it is. And this is just one that's up 42% recently. It's at $16. You know, currently there's not a lot of copies on TCG Player, but this is one that is giving me like more vintage vibes, and I think the art style on this Pikachu is super adorable, and I think this is just a really great looking card, a great looking promo from you know, a time that it has long passed. So this is one of those older ones that, you know, at 16 bucks, and you still can pick this up at that price. The last 3 copies are available, all for under 20. So this was an interesting card that made the list. So this is one of those ones where I was like, you're gonna want to stay till the end, because I do think it's genuinely interesting here with the General Mills promo. So a really nice looking promo that I like a lot. And then lastly, this is one that really caught my eye as a really nice looking promo, the Archus V. And this one's only around $14. So this is a Sword and Shield era promo with, I like all of the Pokemon in the background and the mountain. I think that this is just a really nice looking card. I like the black border on this as well. I think this is just kind of a stunning looking card with the pose of Arceus as well. And this one is down around 7%. And if we zoom out a little bit, you can see, once again, up massively, 137%. This was a $4 or $5 card, and it did peak at around 14, 15, and it's kind of back up to around that $14 mark. So it's starting to rise again more recently, but maybe this card just deserved a little bit more attention, because this is a really nice looking promo. So just one that also I thought was surprising that it was 14, based off of like, this looks like it could be like an alternate art or a more expensive card from a different like Sword and Shield era set. But, you know, obviously being a promo, you know, that definitely affects the price, and that's why it's much more affordable. But just one that really caught my eye. 14 bucks, stunning looking card, no brainer to throw into your collection. So that's all I have for you guys in this one. A little bit different. We haven't done this style of video in quite a while, and it was fun to do. So I did enjoy doing 20 cards for 20 or under. Maybe we'll do some other ones. Let me know in the comments if you want different price points, if you enjoyed this a different kind of style of video than just kind of the market updates that we've been doing. So that was fun to make. I really enjoyed it. But that's all I have for you guys in this one. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel with notifications on. And if you are, there is a giveaway video that you can click on here to enter that giveaway. But that's all I have. I'll catch you guys in the next one. And remember, it was never a phase.